Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I have a pretty cool Golden Frieza list to share with you all. So Golden Frieza is a deck that came out around Cell format. It kind of struggled to get a footing in that format. It was quite bad, but I do think that the meta has shifted to a point where this deck's actually pretty relevant. So we're playing a Fast Awaken build, aiming to use our 1-drop Awakeners, Sangia, and King Cold to cheat out either the 5-drop or 6-drop Golden Frieza way ahead of curve, either stopping our opponent from playing a card at a crucial time, or just floodgating them out of 5 or higher for the rest of the game. When I was testing this deck, one of the big problems I ran into is that it just ran out of cards a lot, so we're really teching into card advantage specifically. We're playing Zangia as a draw engine in the early game, and we're playing the 4-drop cooler, as draw support as well. Other than that, we're playing all the best life swap cards, and we're also playing the Meta Cooler Core engine. This is pretty cool. It is basically just a way to get infinite blockers. It's very strong into Burnhan specifically. You could substitute this engine for some of the aggro cards to leverage against like Yellow Vegeta or Piccolo. I just like this engine. I think it's neat. I'm also playing the 5-drop 0 combo Mecha Frieza and King Cold. So this list is loosely based off of the Worst Duelist list. I know he doesn't like this card, and I didn't like this card at first either, but then I played it a bit more and I realized it was actually pretty good. I like this card because if you're playing Meta Cooler on a turn and you don't want to take the life or you don't have a card to play, this can just be like free value basically. If you're doing any life swap stuff at all, this card is just completely free because it replaces itself, right? So the only real downside of this card is it being a 0, and I feel like there's enough draw power in this deck that we can kind of offset that. So yeah, I like this card. I thought it was good in testing, and you'll see it come up in the games. Other than that, we have one more thing to note. You should probably play 3 Golden Frieza in this deck. I only have 2 on the sim, so I'm only playing 2, but you probably play 3. That card is very good. So our first game today is up against Goku Jr., and this is like one of our best matchups in the game. This is a really, really good matchup, and it's honestly the reason why you should consider playing this deck, in my opinion. The black matchup is super strong, but especially Goku Jr., it feels almost unlosable if you hit perfect curve. Not even perfect curve, if you hit like a decent curve, it feels great. The reason why is Golden Frieza. That just makes their Bardox come in rested immediately, but a lot of things they play are going to come in rested because that's just like the identity of the deck, and because they're buffing the cost of cards, that actually increases the window with which the Golden Frieza is effective. So that is super nice. But the curve we want to hit here on turn 3 is ideally Rest Frieza, Life Swap Frieza, and then the Golden Frieza to play off leader effects. And if you can do that, you can out this Goku GT on curve. And also, when you're doing life takes, you do want to try and get to this position. You want to be at 4 life at turn 3, ideally, so you can do this. This is the combo right here. I guess you could maybe do this on turn 2 if your opponent like really sets you up for it, but typically turn 3 is when you want to be dropping your first card out of life. And going to 3 here, but it's fine because we have such a great tempo play. We basically turn skip them. They can't play Bardock anymore. It's looking very good for us. They play the Goku. Funnily enough, this card actually comes on the field rested if your opponent's on the backside. So they had to play that, then Awaken to play around that. But that is a very funny thing in this matchup. They basically just can't play that card if Golden Frieza is on the field. But they'll go for it, grabbing Goku GT back. And we could go second to Golden Frieza here. I don't want to play into Soul Punisher though, but I feel like if I do that, then we probably can't kill next turn, and they just Soul Punisher us and double strike us in the turn after. So instead I go for Golden Frieza to slow them down, keeps them off of a Gogeta, which I think is pretty strong. And if they play Soul Punisher this turn, they just do nothing, and we can go Golden Frieza next turn. They will charge up, going 20 into lead, we'll combo out. Going for the Goten here. Going for the Bardock, it comes in rested though. We love to see it. We'll go ahead and go for the Golden Frieza now. Our opponent's low enough life that they don't really care about Soul Puncher anymore. Like, if they Soul Puncher, we just kill next turn. So I don't particularly care if they do that. I'll go ahead and rest the combo, swing with Goldo, and now we can just pressure life with our swings. We'll go 25, they'll block out. 25, they'll take that one. And 40 with Golden Frieza, they'll combo out. So looking pretty good here. Their only win condition really at this point is Double Striker, but we have 2 Golden Friezas and a blocker. So, I mean, that's just not going to happen. They will charge up, swinging into lead. We'll combo out. Hercule comes down, grabbing the Goten. Can't play it though because they have combo on the field. It's not Goku's lineage. They'll Soul Punisher, killing 2 Golden Freezes, but we don't really care because we have lethal at this point. We'll go for Zangia here, taking the life, and we'll use the effect to filter out some zeros. Our opponent combos out, and now we can just hand dump for the game pretty much. And yeah, even through a bunch of supers, that is pretty easily lethal. So yeah, that's the Goku Jr. matchup. I don't think this is a top meta deck, but I do think you should consider it because just the black matchup is this good. Like, if you are expecting to see all black in your tournaments, this deck is going to get you there against them almost all the time. But yeah, that's Goku Jr. Let's go ahead and get into other games. So the next game here is up against Burnhan. And this is yet again another surprisingly good matchup for Golden Frieza. This deck definitely has its weaknesses, and there are a lot of decks in the game that can exploit what Golden Frieza is trying to do. But against a lot of the meta decks, Golden Frieza lines up really, really well. This deck didn't even get anything in the recent sets. It just, like, the meta shifted in a way that what this deck does has become a lot better. But especially the Meta Cooler Core engine we're running is very good against Burnhan, as you'll see in this game. They just can't out the 4-drop, right? So you just get 2 blockers every single turn, which is pretty nice. Pretty standard starter from both of us. They will play the 2-drop. We'll swing into it. And I'll go for Zangia. Decline life take here because I do want to be on exactly 4 next turn. I don't want our opponent to be swinging over us. They'll go at life. We'll take it. And they'll play... I mean, that's a tech card in this deck. You can definitely run that. They'll play that thing. It's a double swing, I think. Doesn't matter. We're killing it. And we do have the perfect combo here. Rest guy, life swap guy, cheat out our card. We go for Golden Frieza here. Keeps him off the 4-drop chain if they want to go for that this turn. And is just generally strong, having a 35k blocker the rest of the game against Burnhan. They'll go for Son Goku Mini, which is annoying. We can't really deal with that efficiently. And they'll play Son Goten just to get a body on the board. We'll swing at lead. It's just time to awaken them, I figure. And we can go for the life swap with the Meta Cooler here. Opting to throw the Meta Cooler Core in life. I don't think I end up playing that this turn, because it's not really worth playing a 4-drop out of life usually. But it is there if I need it. And against Burnhan, I'd rather just like keep life up. We'll swing it face a little bit to get some cards out of hands, and we'll pass with a blocker up. Deciding not to go for the Meta Cooler Core out of life here. It just doesn't make sense to cheat that out and go to 2. We can just play it next turn. Kamehameha comes down here, killing the blocker. Unfortunate for us. They'll go 55 at lead. And this is a pretty easy block out with our combo on field, so I just go for it. Our opponent goes 20, up to 30. Kind of have to block out of that one because we blocked out of the previous swing. So we'll do that. Our hand is pretty low now, but we do have Meta Cooler Core coming online, and that's going to be a pretty big tempo swing for us. We'll clear board a bit here pretty efficiently, and we'll start swinging face again. We go 30 with the guy. I don't know his name. We go 30 with him, and then go for Meta Cooler Core, bringing out 2 blockers. So now the rest of the game, basically, we just have 2 free blockers every turn. I guess our opponent could have Kamehameha to deal with it, but that is still a tall order for Gohan. And they kind of can't go for lethal here, right? Because of the blockers, so they have to just do nothing. Instead, they'll try and like clear board, going for the twins in the promo to do that. They'll go 20 at lead. I mean, no reason not to block out there, right? They're obviously going for a leader effect there. And they'll try and clear board a bit more. We'll block out. So now that we've stabilized, we pretty much can't lose. There's no reason to even spend life on leader effect here because we have 2 blockers every turn. If we just stay at 3, our opponent can't really do anything. We'll go ahead and throw the Cooler Core back into life, grab 2 blockers back, and deal with the board. Get a search while we're at it. Managed to get a 5k, which is fine. And yeah, these blockers are a huge problem for Burnhan. I decided not to block here because I figure I don't want to deal with like a double striker plus promo situation. That could be bad for us. So I decided to play a bit safe, keep blockers up. They'll go for the double striker. They'll play some cards here. And they'll just pass. I mean, we have blockers, right? So what are they going to do? on that. But it's kind of good for us though because now we just have two free swings. That's also why I love these cards because they're swings that just restand. So if your opponent doesn't deal with them, like they don't want to deal with them because you get them for free every turn. But if they don't deal with them, you know, they're just free swings that restand. So it's good either way. But yeah, we're just pressuring life here, and we pretty much win the game at this point. If we go 20, they'll combo outs, and this is a pretty easy hand dump through multiple supers in hand. I believe this is exact actually, with the two supers that we know they could have in their hand. So yeah, that's Burnhan. It is absolutely brutal for Burnhan at least. The blockers are super strong. But yeah, those are two very good meta matchups that this deck has. For the final game, we're going to show off a bit of a rogue deck, but I kind of wanted to show how the deck fares into green aggro. That's a bit more of an even matchup. So final game of the day is up against Green Vegeta. I really wanted a either Giblet or Namaku game in this slot because those decks are more common right now, but I couldn't beat them. I really tried. This deck really struggles into aggro. I mean, obviously, like because you want to stay at 4 life, getting aggroed really early is going to rip cards out of your hand, but also it just struggles into wide boards because you don't have removal really, right? And like playing 4 for Freeze Coup is just it feels bad. So I mean, the deck, it can get there against aggro, but it's tough, right? And you'll kind of see that in this video. We can't really deal with their board for most of the game because they can just combo out of swings. The 4-drop King Cold does help, though, the 0 combo one. That one does just help get more stuff on the field, gives you more swings in the board. So finding as much of those as possible is very important. We have kind of a slow start here. We don't really have anything to play off leader effect. I mean, we have the Mega Frieza, but nothing else really. Our opponent is awakened, and they open like pretty perfect curve with the Raditz and the Goku. A bit concerning for us. They will just swing a board. Luckily, we have pretty high life, so we can just take most of these hits. We'll flip on the Stone Goku. Combo outs. I do want to keep at least one of these King Colds on the field so we can play our other King Cold next turn. The 4-drop King Cold requires you to have at least one other Frieza's clan on the field to get its effect. Our opponent goes for the blocker here, and Full Moon, and pass. We're up next here, and we have a pretty solid play with the Meta Cooler here. Gives us a freeze and also sets up the King Cold for the end of our turn. That card is very solid into aggro, because if you play Meta Cooler, you can freeze a card on the board, play out the blocker, and now you've basically negated 2 swings for 4, which is pretty nice. We'll spend energy here, grabbing the blocker, healing back to 4. Unfortunately, we haven't really hit our big boss monsters. No golden Friezas at all, which is really sad. I mean, the Mecha Frieza is okay. It still gets value in this matchup, but we'd really like to see one of those big guys at some point. Our opponent will go for the Raditz chain here, grabbing Vegeta. The monkey's definitely coming down this turn. Raditz for 20. At this point, I'm just trying to keep our life relatively high. I figure we probably won't get too many leader effects this game, but I do want to get at least one if we can. Our opponent goes 30 with the Vegeta. We'll take that one, just combo out of the monkey. Vegeta floats into the monkey. Monkey popping the blocker. Oh no, popping the rest guy. The freeze guy. Meta Cooler. Popping Meta Cooler. They'll go 40 at lead. We'll block out. Full Moon comes down here. And we are in a tough position, but we do have the Golden Frieza finally. We'll go, this is a bit dire, playing Cooler into the 1-drop Frieza. Gotta do what you gotta do. We don't have Meta Cooler in our hand, unfortunately. It still gets us there, right? Gets a body on the field, gets a life swap up. Not the worst thing in the world. We will keep swinging board. Our opponent is really hemorrhaging cards now to try and keep this board alive, which is nice for us. So they can't really hand up too effectively on us right now. We do have supers in hand as well. We'll go for the Frieza, freezing energy, and freezing the monkey. Our opponent swings lead, and it's going to start getting dicey here. We can't really use our blockers because our opponent could have a monkey, right? If we block with even one of the blockers, they just play the monkey, they pop the other blocker, and they go for a huge double strike. So we got to keep these blockers up until they start coming to the board. They'll go for 25 at lead, and we'll block out. Our hand has been ripped apart at this point. Floating to the Goku, and now we can finally block because they're out of monkey range. They'll go for the Raditz here. Still playing the Raditz. Not very common nowadays. They'll swing into board, we'll combo outs. And this is a pretty crucial turn for us. We have to try and wall up as much as possible. We do have 2 blockers, which is nice, and they are running out of cards, so we can start pressuring board more effectively. We have these 25 swings we can use. Have to keep blockers up. We need at least 2 blockers to withstand the monkey. We do also have Freeze Q to help shut down this board a little bit. We'll swing into the Goku. Our opponent will combo out. Leader effect, we don't say anything, so we just pass. Our opponent goes for the Nappa first, grabbing the Vegeta. I assume they're on Monkey here, so again, I just can't block until we get there. Our opponent goes 25, which is really annoying. We don't have a 10k in hand. We have to give them 2 5s, and that definitely shows that our hand is weak, which is unfortunate. They'll go for the Goku here, going to 35 to 40. Have to take that pretty much. They're doing really effective combos here, getting right out of range of what we need to block out. Opponent goes for the Vegeta, just hand dumps on that. We don't block again because of Monkey, and we will just combo out for the exact. So yeah, a pretty good game. Obviously very close. Green aggro is a big problem for this deck. Green aggro and late game decks like Piccolo and Yellow Vegeta. I did have some of those games, but they were just so mind-numbingly long that I just didn't want to show them. But that is generally how those matchups go. So that was the deck. Golden Frieza seems really strong this format. It has a great matchup into black and into Burnhan. If you go into a tournament with this and you see the right matchups, you can definitely get pretty far. The deck's big strength is obviously that you're playing out these big bodies way ahead of curve. It can be super overwhelming, and this deck really develops a lot of tempo very quickly. The disadvantage, obviously, is that you're taking your own life, right? So if you're pressured at a key spot, your opponent can basically keep you off of an entire boss monster, which is really bad. Let's say you go to 4, and then your opponent, before you're able to play anything, swings 40 at you. You have to block out of that. If you don't, you're basically losing the reason to play the leader, but that's also going to hemorrhage cards from your hand, right? So a smart opponent will be able to leverage your low life against you in critical points. And also, you're pretty much guaranteed going into double striker range in the late game. Of course, you have blockers, you have Golden Frieza, but it can be very dicey. It makes this deck very skill intensive because one mistake and you can very easily be put in lethal range. And yeah, definitely play around with this deck. There's a lot of Frieza's armor support, so the card pool is super wide. It's a very fun deck to play around with, and I'd recommend you all to do so. Yeah, thank you all for watching. If you have any ideas for the deck, please let me know. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.